Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dio from Red Diamond Mobile Auto Detailing, and today we are talking steamers versus carpet extractors. Now, I want to kind of get this a little out of the way. This is going to be kind of a long video, so I want to make sure that this video that you're going to be watching is right for you. A little bit of an asterisk here. This is not steamer versus carpet extractor, meaning what's best. This is not about brands. This is not about the VX5000 versus the Mytee 8070. That's not really what this video is intended for. This is basically to tell you which product or which machine does what for what purposes, and you can bring that in and decide if that's right for your business. Maybe you need the carpet extractor, maybe you don't even need the steamer. Maybe you need both immediately. There's all kinds of different, it depends on what market you're chasing, it depends on the business that you're trying to build, if you're mobile, if you're fixed in a shop. All of those have variables, so it really depends on your business. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information. You can pull it in, decide if it's right for you. So just to give you a little bit of my business, this is the VX5000. Again, this is not about brands, but I just want to kind of explain this. Obviously, out of the box, obviously heavily used. I've used this for about 8 years. This was the first real serious tool I bought about 2 months into my business because I knew what I was going to do in my business, and I knew that this particular machine was the first one that I needed to purchase. That was right for my business. Again, it may not be right for yours, but for me, this is the first one that I bought. Obviously, 8 years of use here, and the carpet extractor is still in the box. So, steamer versus carpet extractor. The way that I look at them is the steamer is the multi-purpose all-around tool. Now again, why I bought this machine first was because every interior detail that I do with my business, this machine comes out, no matter what. This is included in the baseline detail. This is not an upcharge. When you purchase an interior detail, this machine is responsible for cleaning door jambs, seat belts, seat locks, the tracks with the seats, leather, windows, plastics, vents, everything. Cup holders. This machine cleans everything in the interior. So this is the all-around tool that I use for the interior. And in that sense, it's a very, very well-rounded machine. Very, very good at what it does. Now, it does remove stains, right? I would use the VX5000 on headliners way before I would use the carpet extractor. As a matter of fact, I would never use a carpet extractor on a headliner, to make that very clear. The VX5000 would be great for removing light soils on the interior and headliner soils, right? But any kind of mid to heavy soils, the steamer is just not enough, right? That's where the carpet extractor comes in. This machine is going to be very good at tackling very heavily soiled interiors and really rejuvenating the carpets and pulling out years and years of abuse and really restoring fabrics. Okay, so again, for my business, this machine comes out every time an interior detail is purchased. This machine comes out only on certain jobs, and when those certain jobs need a heavy-duty machine to remove mid to heavy soiled areas, right? So very different. Again, like I said, this is not an upcharge for me. This is an upcharge, right? So very different machines. With these both, it is not if I purchase this machine or if I purchase this machine, that's all I'll need. And then I can just go right over either the stain or the interior, and it's perfectly brand new. I would say that these machines do about half of the job that you do, right? So this replaces having to do it by hand, right? But you still need to have an understanding of chemistry, of products, meaning what products are good for what situations, and most importantly, what they can and cannot do. And you also need to have an understanding about prep work, right? So if you have a car that's heavily soiled, you're not just going to turn on this machine and then just run it over a carpet and it's brand new. That's just not the case. There's still a lot of prep work that needs to be done. There's still product that needs to be applied, right? Does that make sense? So again, which one's right for you, right? Some detailers don't even use a steamer. I do. I see it incredibly valuable. If you were to purchase a full interior restoration, you purchased a car recently and it's had a lot of abuse and you want to get it to as perfect as you can, right? Both of these machines are going to be in play. It's not going to be one or the other. So the full interior detail has got to get done, and of course the VX5000 or a steamer, any steamer, would be able to do that job. After the full interior is cleaned and all of the debris is up, then the carpet extractor would come into play and tackle those heavy soiled carpets and seats and remove the soil that the VX5000 cannot do. This is more surface soil, and this is going to be below surface soil in fabrics. I have a video that I made years ago about the VX5000, kind of explaining a little bit about what it can and cannot do. Again, take that with what it is. It's really talking about steam cleaners. Now, I made that video 4 or 5 years ago and loved the VX5000 then and still love this machine. I've never had this machine break down on me. I've had to tighten the handle once in all the years, and I have a video on that actually. So that speaks to the respect that I have for this machine for $800 and how much money it's made me, how much time that it's cut down from detailing. I love this machine. Let's stop talking and let's get to opening this. Here's basically what you're greeted with. So here is, here's the main hose. Obviously we'll pull that out, set this aside for now. This is going to be the carrying handle right there with the basket. All right, fine. Give me a second, guys. Let me get all this trash together. Okay, guys, so here we are. So just like you guys, before I make a real major purchase, I'm doing a bunch of research. So I already have my emotions kind of towards what I like about the machine, what I don't, and things like that. And of course, I'll give you guys a little bit of information, but there's so many other videos about this that I kind of wanted to make this a little bit different, which is why I made it kind of about steamers versus carpet extractors. So anyways, here's the actual machine. Go ahead and unwrap this. All right, so we got the machine out, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things real quick. So the first thing that I'm greeted with is the cord here. This is a 25-foot cord, and it's got an indicator here for ground, so it lights up once letting you know that the outlet is properly grounded. If it's not, this light doesn't come on when you plug it up. Use an outlet that's grounded just for safety for the machine, in case something was to go on. Now, just an interesting thing for you guys to keep an eye on. When I go to clients' houses, depending on where I'm at, sometimes I have to use an extension cord, sometimes I do not. It all depends on where I'm at. So a typical house outlet is either going to be a 15 amp or 20 amp outlet with 120 volts. Meaning, this machine here is 19 amps. That's what it pulls from an outlet. So depending on where you're at, you need to make sure that this machine, do not use an extension cord with this machine because it just pulls so much power. You really want to have this direct into the wall. And that's why they provide 25 feet of cable plus 25 feet of hose, so that no matter where you're at, hopefully you have enough area. But you really want this not only plugged in to the wall directly with no extension cord, you really want this by itself on its own breaker if possible. So I'm mobile, and being aware that this is 19 amps and the steamer, the VX5000 in particular, is 14 amps, I can't have these on the same circuit. I'll just keep tripping the client's breaker. If you're using a steam cleaner and you're using this, you really need to make sure, hopefully, that there's either 2 separate breakers in the garage or wherever you're at, or you can get these on 2 separate breakers, because there's just no chance of having these both on the same outlet in a common household outlet that can only do either 15 or 20 amps. You're just going to keep tripping the breaker. So again, something to keep in mind. Now, this Mytee has a basket stand here, obviously. Now here's one of my issues with, I guess I'll show you guys this in case you want it. So basically what you would do is there's these 2 holes here and they're slotted so you can adjust them accordingly. But you basically slide this into the machine and then it's got 2 screws. Now you're supposed to carry the machine with this, which doesn't make any sense to me because it's so, you can't really carry this. You can roll it with this handle, but it's not really a carrying handle. I don't understand. This is one of the kind of aesthetics of the machine I don't really understand. I know particularly, I'm not going to use this. There's a cart for the VX5000 I don't use. I'm not going to use this either because, again, when you're mobile, space is everything. Mytee is completely aware of that. They understand that a lot of mobile guys are using these machines and they should adjust accordingly. I'm not going to use this. It's just a waste of space. That being said, there really is no handle on the top of this machine for me to carry it. There's no side handles. There's really no place for this to be carried except right here, right, where the bars would go. But again, this empty, completely empty, is 49 pounds. Plus, every gallon of water is 8 pounds, if you didn't know that. So a gallon of water is 8 pounds. This can hold 4 gallons. So again, you know, we're talking serious weight here, and just to have your fingertips on here, it doesn't make any sense to me. So it's one of my things that I'm gonna knock on Mytee about. They should know better at this point. There needs to be some sort of way to carry it, even if there's 2 handles on the sides here, to be able to carry this machine for mobile. So again, I'm not going to use that, but just wanted to kind of let you know. I choose not to have the basket. If you look at the back, it's completely bare. There is no place for this to go, right? There's nowhere. So of course, that's pretty much how it's going to be for mobile. Or I'll wrap it around the machine, which is probably what I'll do. But again, I just wish that they had maybe another option if you didn't want that basket, some other way to store the cord or to hang the cord on the actual body of the machine, but they don't. So anyways, so from there, we'll start in the back. So in the back of the machine, there's really not much, right? So just going down from here, right here, this is the recovery tank drain hose. So basically you can open this up and all of the water that you've pulled off, pulled out of the carpet and things like that, that's been cycled, will pour out of here. Now there is, I'm assuming in this bag, I have to check, there is supposed to be an accessory that basically connects to this and it sticks out 6 inches, something like that. But basically it allows you to, when you're draining the water, it's not running down the side of the machine and causing the machine dirty, that it sticks out just enough for you to be able to have some sort of bucket or catch tray or something like that to be able to put all this, the nasty fluid in that you've been pulling out of the carpets, because again, it's got a bunch of chemicals in it and it's, again, really, really nasty. So you don't want that just all over your driveway or, all over your machine, your hands, things like that. So you want to be able to put it in a catch tray and recycle it, properly. Down here is I believe this is like a quick release clip, and this basically is going to be where your motors are, your pumps. You're not going to really deal with that much. The other thing here is, of course, the 3 switches. They're waterproof. They're in these waterproof silicone casings, and it's basically from going left to right, your vacuum pump, and then your heater. Another thing that I think is interesting with Mytee has decided to do is that there's a certain order that you need to press these buttons in. Do it out of order can either cause the machine not to work properly or unfortunately damage the machine. So a lot of the reviews that I've seen with the Mytee and talking with detailers, I don't think it's the machine that's getting the bad name. I think that it's due to improper maintenance and improper use. I'm hoping that, because again, I just spent $1,200 on a machine. I'm biasly hoping that that's the case and not the machine is just not good, not a good piece of machinery. So I'm betting on the fact that it's improper use and maintenance, right? What I think is interesting though is that being these switches need to be turned on in a certain way. So again, we're going left to right, your vacuum pump and your heater. The way that this machine is supposed to work is you're supposed to turn on the pump first. Once you've turned on the pump and you've activated it, you make sure that the line is completely free of air. And I'll kind of show you how to do that once we start setting this up. Then after that's done, you turn on the heater, okay? So first the pump, which is the middle, then the heater, which is the very right one. And you let the water heat up. Takes a couple minutes. Again, for 4 gallons heating up, you know, a couple minutes, that's super impressive. So it speaks to the machine. Then once the water is heated to a certain amount, then you turn on the vacuum all the way here at the left. Now, Mytee stresses that it needs to be put in this order because of the fact that it's been put out of order, and again, that can either cause the machine to not work properly or damage the machine. I don't know why they don't just switch the buttons and put indicators on them. So instead of having it in a 3-1-2 order, why don't they just go 1 2 3? I'm not sure why they decided to design it this way. It would be so much easier and it would cause less questioning. And then have an indicator above the heater, you know, that doesn't light up and then lights green or whatever when the heater's ready, you know. And then you basically have your indicator, and then you can turn on your vacuum and go on. So anyways, just a food for thought. So there's that. So here we go. Let's go ahead and turn it to the front of the machine. Okay, so again, this is pretty simple. The black here, the whole black casings, this is the recovery tank. So this is basically where all the really nasty water goes once you've pulled it into the machine. And this is the solution tank, so the blue, right? Each of them are 4 gallons, so technically this machine can hold 8 gallons. Of course, you wouldn't do that because basically when you're done using the 4 gallons that you've used in your solution tank and now it's in your recovery tank, you need to empty the machine, you need to put in new water. This is the connection for the hose, right? Down here is your solution fill. You can fill the bucket this way, or you can fill it with this hose connection, just quick connection. Again, I'll show you that, guys, here in a little bit. And then this is the quick brass disconnect and connect for the actual steamer, right? The steaming portion of the machine. And then these are 3-inch locking in the front. I wish they would have stuck with 10 swiveling in the front. If not, kick it down to 6. But I'm not sure why they decided to go with 3, because the cost is not that much for casters. So you go from a really bulk, nice 10-inch rubber caster in the back, which is great. It's going to be great for concrete driveways, you know, whatever the deal is, whatever surface whatever surface that you're working on, it's going to be great. It's going to be able to handle being able to be moved quickly from one location to another. These 3-inch ones, I can't speak to the quality of them because I haven't used them, but the fact that they're only 3 inches, it just, why not go just that little extra and put 6-inch or you know, 5-inch on the front, something like that. I just don't understand why they did 3. But again, you know, I have not used this machine, so I can't say it won't be perfect. It's just interesting to me. But some people might have had years with this experience with this machine and say that there's absolutely no issue with the front casters. So I can't say that there is. This right here is the, I can open it. This is the recovery tank drain lid. Recovery tank lid. So there's a little filter up here, right here. And, but this is basically just to be able to see inside of the recovery to see if you need to drain it out, see if it's full. I'm assuming that this machine has an auto shut off, so when you've used all the water in your solution tank and it goes into your recovery tank and the recovery tank is full, I'm assuming that the machine shuts off automatically. Again, that's an assumption, I have no idea, but I'm assuming that there's some sort of shut off in place that will turn the machine off once it's filled. So another thing to point out, again, the difference between a carpet extractor, at least with this one, again, and the VX5000. The VX5000 manufacturer suggests that you run off with distilled water only. This you can run straight tap, garden hose, water, and this machine will not have an issue with it. Okay, so again, when you're putting into your solution, so this is where you would put in the solution or the water, and then this right here is basically just a hose that isn't connected to anything, which I'll probably take out, honestly. I don't think I'll ever use this. But it's basically just a really simple hose, piece of tubing with a piece of brass that this molding right here will basically take shape of any kind of regular kitchen faucet spigot. You just basically just push this up on the faucet, and it'll kind of form around and create a seal, and then you can fill the machine that way. And then again, so say you've used 3 gallons or whatever, and you still got a gallon here. This little thing right here that'll drain the solution. Again, just don't drain this in like the yard or anything like that. If you've got a product in here, make sure that you're responsible with your chemicals. Okay, so when you're looking to buy a vacuum or when you're looking to buy a water extractor, there's 2 kind of terms that you're going to hear, and it's important to know kind of what they mean. Because again, water extractors and vacuums are pretty similar. One thing you're going to hear is CFM, which is basically cubic feet of air movement per minute. Meaning how much air can the motor pull, right? And that's important to know, but that's only kind of half the equation. The other thing that you're going to hear is water lift, which is basically if the air can move it, right? And that's important. Again, like I said, it's important to know what the motor can handle. What's the suction like, right? And that's kind of where the water lift comes into. Now, as far as CFMs goes, this machine is 100. Now, to kind of give you a little bit of comparison, the vacuum that I use for my interiors is 140 CFM. So this is a little bit less. Does that mean that this vacuum does not have the suction power that my vacuum has? No, because there's a delicate balance between CFM and water lift. Now, because this is a water extractor, it needs to be able to carry heavier things, right? So it doesn't need as much airflow. Does that make sense? So because this doesn't have as much airflow, but it has a much better ability at picking up heavy things, water is a lot heavier than debris, that does not mean this machine is not as powerful as the vacuum that I use. It's 2 completely different things. It's 2 parts of the equation, and you got to kind of find this balance. So as far as water lift goes, this is 130 inches of water. In an everyday buyer's mind, there are professionals that know way more about this than I do. But in everyday, kind of buyer's mind, those 2 terms are they're loose to me. So as far as like seeking out a machine that has the greatest numbers, I have no idea. So that may be useful to you. Those 2 numbers may mean absolutely nothing to you. Take it for what it is. The PSI on the pump is 120. I believe PSI on a steamer is 70, give around there. So again, you're getting more PSI. This is sucking up 1.3 gallons per minute. This also has a 3-stage vacuum motor. So as far as what that means, the single stage, the 3 single stage, I have no idea. All I know is that as far as 2-stage vacuum cleaners, the motor's more powerful. It's got a better water lift. So again, I don't know what exactly the terminology is that is. I just know that it outperforms the 2-stage. So hey, great. So anyways, as far as the machine goes, that's about it. Now, as far as caring for it, again, a lot of it is common sense. Making sure that you're operating the machine correctly is paramount. That's what's going to make the machine last as long. Don't turn on the heater when there's no water in the machine. Don't have air in the system and not prime it correctly. Like, there's very basic things that you need to do with this machine to make sure that it lives as long as you want it to live, right? The cleaning solutions that you use in the machine, make sure that you're using them properly. Make sure that you're using them as necessary. About every 2 to 3 cars or whatever, you're probably going to want to clean that system fully. As far as like checking your hoses and making sure that everything looks good and keeping it clean, you should do that every single day. Every single time that you use it, you should make sure that both tanks are clean, that the machine is clean, on the outside. If you take care of this machine, it'll take care of you. So that's the body of the machine. We've talked about this basket, which I think is absolutely useless. So we'll come over here and open this up. So the first thing I see here is an accessory kit. So your Mytee should come with a hose assembly with vinyl cufflinks, spelled LYNX, which is a trademarked. It's this rubber piece that kind of protects it. There's a hose wrap heat guard. There's an upholstery tool, a drain hose, screws that you can put on the basket, safety covers called cuties, quick start guide, accessories card, and manual card. So all these are checked, and then it's also got an initial date on when it was inspected. So pull these out. Let's see what's in these. So these are the screws for the basket. Goes out of here. I don't care. If you'd like to purchase a basket, by the way, you can hit me up. $300. It's brand new. It's just gonna sit there. I'm not gonna use it. Comes with screws. So, all right. So this is a quick guide on the upholstery tool, on how to exactly use it. One thing that this is mentioning is, and that I've seen some debate, and I'm curious on what you think. How to use a carpet extractor. Again, this isn't specific to the 80/70, just in general. I've seen people apply solutions to the carpet, and I've seen people argue that you should do 1 wet pass, 2 dry. I've seen the opposite. You should do 1 dry pass, 2 wet. You should do a 1-to-1 ratio. I've seen all kinds of different ratios. I'm gonna do a 1 wet, 2 dry. That's what I'm gonna do personally. But if you think that there's a better way of doing it, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious about that. But anyways, this is just a kind of a maintenance tip on the extractor nozzle, how to clean it and things like that. So these are safety covers or cuties. I don't know why they're called that, but they're basically insulated pieces of plastic that, let me put this cord up here. Let me aim this camera down just a little bit. So on this brass fitting, obviously, I think the water gets somewhere around like 240 degrees, something like that. Obviously gets extremely hot. So these little clips here. Okay. So these little clips still allow you to pull the quick release, kind of like an air compressor, but without burning your hands off. So of course it comes with a set of 2. So you've got one for the machine and then one for the actual hose. Now I will tell you, most people when they put the hose on, they don't really take it off. They just leave it on the machine. So it's completely up to you. Again, they come with a card and give you some ideas on some different accessories and stuff you can buy. And then this is the heat hose wrap. I'm not sure exactly where they want me to place that yet. Again, I'm learning as we go. So here we go. Here's the main guy. Let's pull this one out first. All right. Okay, cool. So I didn't know if they were going to send me the stainless steel one. I really wanted the clear one, and that's exactly what I've got. And this is incredibly heavy duty. Man, it's just really well built. And I like that it's not just clear here, it's actually clear all the way through. The reason why I wanted a clear one is because 2 reasons. One, obviously, it's really the only reason so you can see what's going on. But 2 reasons. I want to see how much dirt is pulled out of the machine, or sorry, excuse me, pulled into the machine. And I want to make sure that the dirt obviously goes away so that I know that the material is clean. I also want to make sure that only water is being pulled through here at the end of the cycle and that there's no solution that is left in the materials, so that when I'm completely finished doing carpet extracting, there's no potential for resoiling because of a solution left in the carpet fibers, right? So I really like that not only did they make this clear, they actually made the whole handle. And this is really insanely durable. I've heard that this is durable. It's one thing to hear, it's another thing to see it. So I'm impressed by this. So good things so far. Alright. Next thing here is the hose. Okay. This is one of those things I think I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it on, and I'm just going to leave it on, but I'll show you guys where this goes. This, like I was speaking about earlier, so being that as it is, I like that they made that easy to come off. So, oh really, they didn't put this on a swivel. You couldn't do that, huh? That'd be too complicated. But anyways, so it's got a quick release here. So basically, when you're ready to drain this, you don't have to like keep twisting it. It's half, quarter of a turn, and then boom, you're ready to go. So, oh look at that! Oh, look at that! So I don't need to tell you what this is, but it expands, and then actually like twists and contracts. So that way, if you need to get this further away from the machine, put it in a bucket, you can do so. Very clever. All right, Mytee. This is why you pay for quality, right? All right. So again, same kind of thing. It's like a quarter of a turn, and then that's in. So that goes to the machine. All right. So. And then there you go. So you get your 25 foot of hose right there, and then you've got your wand, your clear wand. So I like that. One thing that is interesting is that you purchase this machine isn't as expensive as it is. There's no cleaning solution for this machine. I'm gonna need to go buy a bottle of cleaning solution for this machine. Mytee, you really should include at least one bottle. For a $1,200 machine, it should at least come with one bottle to be able to clean this machine. Alright guys, well that's it. This is the Mytee 8070, the third generation Mytee. Again, when I was doing a bunch of research on this particular machine, I came across really good reviews and really bad ones. There were no middle ground. It was either love it or hate it. Again, I'm hoping that the reason why some people hate it and some of the fails that the machine has had in the past is due to improper use and maintenance. I'm hoping that that's what the case is. Just like any kind of piece of machinery, you need to maintain it and take care of it. I'm also hoping that because this has went up about $400 in price, in the past, previously it was sold for about $870, and now this machine is at $1240. I'm hoping that there are the fails that have happened, if it was not due to improper use or maintenance, that they have been corrected, and that there have been some additional improvements into the machine, because again, you're going up, third in price. So there's got to be value to it, but again, I don't know the difference between the first and second generation, but this is the third one. This is not a review on how well the machine works. I want to be able to bring you guys honest information about it, and so this is going to go through a couple of rigorous tests before I really definitively come to you with claims. This is the unboxing of it. This is kind of how it looks, and then again, this is a little bit of information about what an extractor would be used for and what a steam cleaner would be used for. Kind of give you a little bit of information. But I hope this helps. Again, my name is Dio. You can always reach me at diogreen@ymail.com. Comments as well. I respond to all the comments. So anything that you post down here, of course, I'm going to get back to you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped a little bit. And also, don't forget, comment down below. Do you guys do one wet 2 dry, 2 wet, 1 dry? What's your ratio? What worked for you? Definitely let me down in the comments below. I'm curious. Anyways, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.